Hey folks, it's me, M64 Bros, and today we have officially a few days before Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League comes out, so I thought, let's talk about it one last time before it's all said and done. Now, this won't be the final video about me talking about the game. I am planning on getting the game myself eventually if I feel like it, but as for today, let's talk about it, its hopes, its fears, its concerns, and maybe some, positive stuff about it. So, let's jump right into it. Of course, as always, first things first, the game is officially $69.99, aka $70. And we technically know how everyone feels about that. To be fair, they've been doing it ever since the 80s and 90s, so it isn't that big of a surprise. However, it might surprise some other people that are watching this video, and yeah. Basically, it's been happening ever since the 80s and 90s, so yeah. However, there are 3 excuses that makes the $70 purchase worth it. Of course, there's always the discount events where the game becomes cheaper, meaning people can easily get the game cheaper without paying $70, which is basically a thing that happens on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, Steam, and yeah, you get the point. The second excuse for the $70 purchase was the fact they mentioned free content after the game's launch. Here's a video clip of them talking about it right here.
We'll also cover how Rocksteady will continue to support the game and its players post-launch with a huge amount of free content.
The third excuse for the $70 purchase is being able to play the game offline as post-launch content. Now, don't get me wrong, I am very happy that they're adding an offline mode for the story mode, but I really wish it came with the game directly rather than having it as a post-launch content-free update. Honestly, I wish all video games would do that. After all, it's modern gaming and we all know how modern gaming can be sometimes. But hey, on the bright side, at least there are some companies from the 80s and 90s that still do offline games that you can play with or without an internet connection. From my point of view, having an offline mode for all video games is 10 times more important than the whole gaming preservation that people talk about. However, the gaming preservation is a whole other topic I'll be talking about at a later date. The reason I bring up the offline mode a lot is because Suicide Squad was originally not going to include an offline mode, and that would create a bunch of massive problems for the game and Kevin Conroy's legacy as Batman, because once the game's online functionality shuts off, the game comes offline with it and unable to be playable. But thanks to Rocksteady having the ability to add an offline mode to the game, I can safely say that Kevin Conroy's legacy will still be remained. And you can still play the game with or without an internet connection through the campaign. Now that we got all the fears and excuses out of the way, let's talk about the positive stuff about the game. After looking at both Suicide Squad Insider videos very closely and carefully, it almost seems like the developers knew exactly what they're doing. The gun customization and the character's skill tree should give us hope that this game might actually have some good elements in it after all. The support squad looks really interesting from the looks of it. The base where all the characters will be look pretty cool. And of course the game is going to have alternate costumes. And goddamn, Deadshot as Batman looks pretty damn sick if you ask me. So overall, after looking at the gameplay a little bit more, it almost seems like it could actually work and it could be good. As for the story itself, it looks pretty solid. I'm curious on what the ending of the game will look like and how it's going to set up future Arkham games to expand the Arkham universe. Overall, the positive stuff about the game looks pretty smoothly from the looks of it. Now for the tiny complaint that everyone keeps talking about. Why is Poison Ivy a child in this game? What I'm assuming is they're trying to mimic Groot from the MCU. When the adult version of Groot died, he was being rebirthed into a child. And then of course during Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 he's a child. And then Volume 3 we see him as a freaking awesome Chad looking Keen Groot. Damn, that's so cool. So I'm assuming that's what Suicide Squad is trying to do with Poison Ivy. Now for the fears and cons I have with the games. What if the game did fail? Who are we gonna blame this on? A bunch of YouTubers tend to jump straight to conclusions saying this is all on Rocksteady and wanting them to go bankrupt or it will kill their studio, and I'm gonna say the truth. It's not gonna make them go bankrupt. I actually went onto the official Reddit page and I asked Reddit a question if it would make them go bankrupt if the game did fail. And surprisingly, the response I got was positive, so it's confirmed it will not make Rocksteady games go bankrupt, but it would make them go back to single-player games, even if it did fail. And a lot of people on the Reddit page seemed very nice, and still had high hopes for the game. And so do I. Now, of course, the real person to blame this on is the WB CEO, David. Which I'm pretty sure you guys heard a lot about him, and you know what he's doing at WB. Speaking of which, I am planning on making a video on why WB will not merge with Paramount, but that's a whole other story I'll talk about at a later date. Now for the conclusion. From my point of view, I highly doubt Suicide Squad will fail immediately. Sure, it's gonna have a bunch of tiny flaws when it immediately launches, but honestly, I don't think it's gonna look that terrible once it releases. As long as it doesn't get screwed up, it should be fine. Other than that, hope you guys find this video really interesting and entertaining to watch about my fears and hopes and concerns for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and I'll see you guys in the next video, so peace out.